Hello car lovers, driving the 2017 Acura TLX 4-cylinder all-equipped model. It's my car. It's the 2-year review. Actually, it's a little bit more than 2 years. And I do these every year just to give people an idea of what it's like to own one of these and also my thoughts. So I'll start off by essentially explaining why I bought this vehicle in the first place. I'm pretty much a mid-size / compact sedan buyer. I like the front-wheel drive architecture. It's very simple. It eats less gas than, let's say, a 4-wheel drive. And in Montreal, I know like the province of Quebec has recently gone on a really crazy boner on 4-wheel drive systems, and that is fine. There's an argument to be made for that, especially on winter when it just snowed or even very wet terrain, that 4-wheel drive is useful. However, I've always grown up without 4-wheel drive. I've had a 4-wheel drive vehicle, and I think a front-wheel drive with good tires, good winter tires, is just fine for me. I don't know, maybe if I lived in a place like Quebec City, which is 250 kilometers away, and about 20 feet more snow per year than we get. I'm barely exaggerating. When buying this vehicle, I shopped the Ford Fusion. At the time I thought was very nice, and also I shopped the Mazda 6. I took this one eventually because I felt that it offered some premium features over those vehicles. I thought, I liked the styling, although that wasn't why I bought the principal reason why I bought this vehicle. What I liked was the incredible seats. It had way better seats than that Mazda and the Ford, at least the 2017s. I know the Mazda seats have gotten better recently with that Napa leather. Also, I liked the interior noise. That it's very quiet in this vehicle, which I like. I find the interior styling is pretty good, with the exception of this mess here. It feels pretty premium here, and though that is the plus value. Also, you get that Honda peace of mind in terms of the overall engineering. This is a naturally aspirated engine. Naturally aspirated engines have a tendency to be just more reliable than turbo engines, just by virtue of the mechanical complexity. And also, Honda has had this engine for many years now. So that's what it boiled down to. Previous to that, I had been leasing an Acura TL. I had very much liked the experience with the Acura TL. That's number one. Number two, Honda was taking the lease over with no penalty if I was buying another Honda Dash Acura product up to 6 months before the end of my lease, providing of course they wanted the car, but my car was spick and span, low mileage, low everything. I take care of my cars, I detail them like crazy, so that was not a problem. So here I am with this vehicle. Bought it at the initial, liked the car. After 1 year, still like the car. There was some annoying rattles which I eventually got fixed recently. There are other little rattles, but I'm not going to break your ears with all that. It's generally very good, very solid, very reliable. So what mileage am I at? I'm at 39,000 kilometers and a little bit. I've had this car for 2 years and almost 2 months. The transmission still goes well. The engine still purrs smoothly. This car is just as comfortable and as easy to drive as when I bought it. I would say that I try about maybe 45 cars a year. Every time, it's very, very rare that when I'm done the review and I get back into my car that I'm not happy. In fact, I'm happy almost like 95% of the time. So this car, kind of the right fit with me. I'm just going to go over a few pet peeves of this vehicle, which have, like, sometimes you buy something, it's a pet peeve, and it goes away with time. It doesn't bother you as much. What an idiot, this guy. It doesn't bother you as much. So what are those things? Well, I think the steering wheel is one of my pet peeves. It's a bit wide in diameter. It's a bit thin. The leather is reasonably soft, but I mean, it doesn't feel sporty at all. It feels like kind of like a grandfather-like, if you want. Also, having to fill up with premium fuel really pisses me off to no end. I understand this is the premium segment and it is to be expected to pay for premium unleaded fuel. It's just, I don't know about you guys, this is my third premium car, and actually Acura is more of a semi-premium brand, and I never get used to it. When I go to the gas station and I put premium unleaded, it pisses me off every single time. And I don't know, tell me what you think in the comments. Paying 10-15% more for gas just pisses me off. Another thing that I really have not gotten used to is the climate control. The climate control, this whole dash area here, when using it, I find if you have a death wish try to change your temperature in traffic. I mean, you have to take your eyes off the road. And this is what I mean by, but I say it often in my other videos, manufacturers going to the touchscreen for redundant commands. And I just find when you have a muscle memory, it is much easier to touch a button or turn a knob than to activate a screen. So for example, if I want to change the speed of the fan, for example, well, look at my eyes. Got that? Turning it off again. A long time off the road. I'll bring it down again. Won't get into an accident, I hope. So that is the time it takes. As for the exterior styling, well, has it held up with time? Well, it was never a very nice exterior styling. Acura was still looking for its correct design language in 2017. In fact, this car came out in 2015, and I would propose to you that it was so not awesome looking that they redid it for 2018. And that's one of the reasons why I was able to get a great price on this vehicle. In fact, when I was bargaining for the lease price, I remember distinctly telling the saleswoman when I had made a proposition and she made a counter offer, I said, I will pay your price if you can name to me right now 3 cars for $40,000 that are uglier than this one. And she could only answer with one of them. So I got my price. And that was kind of like funny. So it's not pretty for most people. However, I like it. That's the part I didn't say. I like the styling. I like the height of it. I like the low stance. I like the slight wheel bulges in the back. It has like a swooping down forward look. And I would say that I think most sporty-ish sedans have those characteristics. In fact, the new Honda Accord, the 2018 Honda Accord when it came out, has those characteristics. They brought it down. The Toyota Camry in 2018 when it came out, it seems a bit lower, seems a bit more hunkered down like this vehicle. The trend in the industry is to make higher vehicles, higher off the ground, to provide a better visibility, to provide better interior cabin space, to create a greater sense of security. Well, for those of us who drive sedans, we know that the security, like, it's not a problem, but also this idea of driving low, this sporty posture, and this can only really be done with a sports sedan. Actually, this is not really a sports sedan. It's a sedan, sporty-ish sedan. So what do I have to say overall about what would I change on this vehicle? Well, of course, I could change the styling. I could change the, I find the lack of perhaps an aggressive exhaust note. This is kind of like missing in terms of the sporty experience. I would say the steering wheel, major factor. I know they've corrected it on the new TLX, at least with the higher trim model, the A-Spec model, which is a model, by the way, I'm looking at. And while we're on that subject, if I had to buy a vehicle today, which one would it be? Well, I think the Honda Accord edges this vehicle. I think the new Mazda 6 edges this vehicle. I think the new TLX A-Spec edges this vehicle. And that's about it, I think I can think of. I'm waiting for the 2020 Sonata. That looks really promising. I don't know about the Altima. I haven't driven that one yet, but the previous Altima was not in the same class, I think, and also not in the same price. Somehow Nissan has kind of like went to making just cheaper cars in price and quality. That's not really what I'm interested in. And there's also another thing is, do I buy this vehicle? Because for those of you like maybe in your 40s, like I'm 43 years old, like am I thinking, is it really like appropriate for me to still have car payments every month? I mean, shouldn't I be like paying these things like cash or almost cash and then like spending some time with it? And I wrestle with that. I could buy it. I could buy it at the end of my lease, this vehicle, and I'm sure it would be good for a very long time. It's just that every time I see other cars, like after 5 years, they look so old. And I just gotta have another one, right? You gotta have the new thing. And I wrestle with that a lot. You know, on one hand, I want to be like an intelligent consumer. But on the other hand, these things are just so compelling. These new vehicles are so compelling. When you look at the new TLX A-Spec, this one kind of looks and feels like shit. So by the way, I'm probably going to review that vehicle soon. And that's the conflict I have. You know, do I buy it or do I return it at the end of the lease and get a new one, get a new car? And those are my thoughts after 2 years of owning the or leasing, I should rather say, the Acura TLX 2017. So that's it. Enough rambling. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you like this video, like it. If you don't like it, don't like it. And if you really like it, you should subscribe. Of course, you should subscribe. I come out with 3 to 4 videos per month. They're both in English and in French. So if you do subscribe, don't worry about it. Swipe by the ones that are not your language. You don't have to listen to them. And that is it.